Indonesia launches ambitious free meal program to combat stunting, and Tanah Barak iconic cliff collapse. Road to Pandawa Beach closed. Stay tuned for details on these and other stories. Selamat pagi. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is January 7th, 2025. Wow, the month is going so quick. And my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like today? Well, 29.7 degrees Celsius at 9:30 in the morning. Humidity is 71%. And the wind speed is a gusty 19.4 kilometers per hour. Things are blowing around here. And, well, it's cloudy, but sun is out as well. And so is it going to rain? I don't know. Hasn't rained that much here lately, but apparently it is raining in other parts of the island. Reports of roofs being damaged, trees falling, and, of course, going to talk about this cliffs collapsing. So still got the extreme weather, and it's going to be going on for a while, unfortunately. Okay, a lot of stuff to do today, and let's get started with the free meal program. Indonesia launches ambitious free meal program to combat stunting. Stunting is a problem in Indonesia. Indonesia launched an ambitious $4.3 billion free meal program on Monday to combat stunted growth due to malnutrition, a key election promise of President Prabowo. He pledged to provide nutritious meals free to tens of millions of school children and pregnant women, saying it would improve their quality of life and boost economic growth. This is historic for Indonesia, for the first time conducting a nationwide nutrition program for toddlers, students, pregnant, and breastfeeding mothers, according to the presidential spokesman, Hassan Nasbi. At least 190 kitchens run by third-party catering services open nationwide, including some run by military bases, and they were busy preparing meals from midnight before distributing them to school children and pregnant women. One student said, "I'm happy because the food was delicious and I can concentrate more when I'm studying." The government has allocated, as I said before, 10,000 rupiah per meal and has a budget of 71 trillion rupiah, $4.3 billion for the 2025 fiscal year. It's set to deliver meals to almost 83 million people by 2029. Stunting affects 21.5% of children in the archipelago of some 282 million people. Indonesia aims to reduce the rate to 5% by 2045, the 100th anniversary of independence. We serve different menus every day. It has to be different so the children won't get bored, according to one staff member. She said they were able to serve fairly nutritious meals such as eggs and fish, even with the limited budget, although meat would likely only be served twice a month. We can still create various menus, but the options are limited. For us, the most important thing is that the meal is nutritious, she said. However, the program was met with skepticism from experts and the public when it was first announced during last year's election campaign. According to a Jakarta-based nutritionist and doctor, he said the trials late last year were mostly conducted in urban areas and assessments were not made available to the public. She said the government needed transparent monitoring and robust food safety management to prevent hazards and the inclusion of unhealthy processed products such as instant noodles and sausages. I hope this program is not just a temporary charitable effort to fulfill political promises, she said. To continue it for the long term, the government should focus not only on funding, but also on empowering communities so they are not simply reliant on free meals once a day while struggling to find food for the other two meals. Prabowo has championed the program since its presidential campaign, and his team has said the poorest and remote regions of Southeast Asian archipelago would be prioritized. He traveled to several countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom after he was sworn in last October, seeking funding support. He secured a $10 billion deal with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping in November for support in several sectors, including the free meal program. However, analysts have said the scheme is not sustainable in the long term. I'm quite pessimistic if everything is shouldered by the central government. Economically, it's not sustainable, according to Aditya Alta, public policy analyst for the Center for Indonesian Policy Studies think tank. Stunting is a multidimensional issue, and addressing it through just one approach is not sufficient, he said. And there is some skepticism among the public and experts, and we'll just have to see how this is going to turn out and how nutritious are these meals. That's another issue. What about here in Bali? Well, turns out that only one regency was able to get started yesterday, and that is Jembrana. Jembrana initiates free nutritional meals in Bali. Regent Tamba expect it to be better in the future. As many as 3,108 students from 15 schools in Jembrana were able to have free meals. This program will continue until all registered students receive free nutritious lunches programmed by the central government. The Regent said the free nutritious meal program is the Asta Chita program of President Prabowo, and yesterday was the first time it was implemented simultaneously throughout Indonesia. The Regent said, thanks to the stakeholders for making this program a success. According to him, this national program brings pride to the people of Jembrana and personally to him as the regent. Because from the results of the verification by the National Nutrition Agency in Bali Province, only Jembrana passed the verification and was able to implement the program yesterday. Other regencies said there are technical difficulties, which is why they did not get started. The implementation of this free nutrition program is in partnership with the Jembrana Happy Culinary Foundation, which was appointed and passed the verification of the National Nutrition Agency. The Regent said, it is hope with the first implementation that's gone well, things will get even better in the future. The most important thing in getting this started is the readiness and ability of partners to provide free nutritious meals for students. The kitchen that makes food for students, well, has 47 volunteers and one nutritionist and an accountant and a kitchen head for each area. The Regent hopes for cooperation from all parties, including the Jembrana Police and the military. According to Jembrana Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed, the free nutritious meal program is simultaneous throughout Indonesia, but only 181 kitchens have been verified so far to be able to implement it, 52 of which belong to the National Nutrition Agency. The kitchens that are ready include those in Jembrana representing Bali, and they've been running well, and they passed the verification results. The plan, according to the number of students in Jembrana, is around 58,000 people. If each kitchen serves only 3,000 students, then it should need 21 kitchens to survive. Therefore, for now, only one kitchen serves around 3,000 students. In addition to the capacity of the kitchen, the route and distance of food transport to the environment is also considered. The rule is a distance of 3 kilometers from the kitchen to the school with a travel time of about 15 minutes, so that the food received by the students is in a condition to eat, not sale. In the future, I hope there will be 21 kitchens throughout Jembrana Regency with 4 to 5 kitchens in each sub-district, he explained. Regarding the menu, they've confirmed to the partners that they will change the menu every week so students will not get bored. It is expected that in 1 week there will be one day whose meals will be eagerly awaited so that students are enthusiastic about going to school. So one special meal a week. The police chief appealed to the public not to easily believe individuals who claim to be offering free nutritious meal programs, especially those who ask for money, which could be suspected as fraud, like what has happened in other areas. He said, we haven't had this happen in Jembrana yet, but we hope the public will be vigilant, not easily trusting, so they can avoid fraud. And with the rains, we've had a lot of problems, including, unfortunately, the tragedy where 2 people were killed by falling trees over in the monkey forest. Well, now, another tourist area. We're fortunate that nobody was killed or injured during this. Tanah Barak iconic cliffs collapse. Road to Pandawa Beach closed. Heavy rain that's poured down on the South Kuta area since Monday early morning caused a cliff in the Tanah Barak Pandawa Beach tourist area to collapse. You see the photo. As a result, the debris has covered the iconic road access with high cliffs towering on the left and right sides since morning. Head of the Pandawa Beach Tourism Area Planning and Development Agency admitted that officers were bringing in heavy equipment to remove the material covering the road. This cleaning will be taking place, well, through today. Hopefully it will be open today. He said we launched heavy equipment today. That was yesterday, after we went around to make sure there were no problems with the condition of the cliff. According to him, in addition to the impact of the high rainfall, landslides were also caused by cliff conditions consisting of several layers. The collapse of the cliff happened so quickly. He said, fortunately, there were no fatalities. Think about if people were going through there. We estimate that the landslide occurred at night or early morning. It was only morning when we discovered that the road was blocked. He explained that the landslide cliff material was the outermost part of several layers of the cliff in the area. According to him, the cliffs in the Pandawa area consist of several layers, so what is currently collapsing is a small part of the coral soil layer that was still left when the previous cliff cutting was carried out. Previously, when we cut the cliff, it turned out that there were 2 layers of rock like 2 plates on the ground. The rest that has now collapsed is still attached to the previous strongest layer. He ensured that the condition of the remaining cliff layer is currently the thickest layer. He claimed the condition is strong. As an anticipatory measure, the management of Pandawa Beach, which manages the entire area, will continue to check the condition of the cliff periodically. Then the management plans to invite rock experts from Udayana University to conduct a study of the cliff conditions. However, this plan is still being coordinated with the Badung Regency Regional Disaster Management Agency. Visually, the physical condition of the cliff looks very strong, visually, but we still need a study to make sure. So while this is being cleaned up, access to Pandawa Beach via Tanah Barak cannot be passed, considering that it takes 1 day to remove the remaining rocks. So it should be cleaned up by today. Security is what we must ensure because access is a tourist object, not just a road anymore. What can you say about this? And what about the drivers that I was talking about the other day and the demo that was to take place yesterday? It did take place yesterday. It was peaceful. Bali DPRD responds to 6 demands of Bali Tourism Drivers Struggle Forum. Chairman of Commission 3 of the Bali DPRD, Inyoman Suyasa, responded to the 6 demands submitted by the Bali Tourism Drivers Struggle Forum in this peaceful demo yesterday. He said the first demand related to the limitation of online taxi quotas in Bali would be met. However, there are several things that need to be reviewed first. He said this involves a comprehensive field study regarding the need for the amount of vehicles that are there and their performance. Because in the data of the Bali Transportation Agency, the number of special rental transportations is currently recorded at 10,854 units. This number is lower than the projected need for rental transportation in 2020, 4 years ago, and the study was done in 2015. From this number, it's not known for certain how many special rental vehicles are operating in the field. As for the second demand, namely the regulation and reorganization of vendors, Commission 3 agreed. Suyasa said that they will encourage and ensure the implementation of guidance and supervision by DISHub. He said the Bali DPRD will encourage the Bali provincial government to prepare a study on the lower and upper limit tariffs. Regarding the restriction of recruitment with Bali ID cards only, he said that ID cards are valid for all of Indonesia. It's not possible to limit work that is still in Indonesian territory. However, he encouraged the implementation of recruitment requirements to become special rental transportation drivers, ASK, in Bali. Driver certification to meet the requirements of regional, cultural, and language competencies will be encouraged and facilitated to be implemented by the Bali Tourism Office and the Transportation Office. He also agreed to ask ASK vehicles to have DK or Bali plates with ASK identity labels for each company. The Bali DPRD will encourage the Transportation Agency together with the Bali Tourism Agency to prepare the planning and implementation of this standardization. According to Bali DPRD Chairman, known usually as Dewa Jack, he said he would create a regional regulation related to the ASK in Bali. He said, encourage Bali Governor Regulation number 40 of 2019 concerning special rental transportation services to be upgraded to a regional regulation which will be stronger. He ensured that the regulation would be a priority regulation to be discussed in the near future when the body opens up for a session in the coming weeks. He asked all associations that are members of the forum to help provide input to the special committee that will be formed in the formation of the regional regulation later. Dewa Jack also asked the Bali provincial government to prepare a call center or hotline related to the management of tourism, transportation, and special rentals based on applications in Bali. If things are not working well, he said, Call the number so that Bali provincial government can follow up through Satpol PP or the police. He warned tourism drivers not to take the law into their own hands in the field. He also promised free certification for tourism drivers so that they have competency standards as drivers in the tourism sector. If tourism is not okay, he said, we'll make it okay. Bali tourism drivers protest many foreign tourists picked up by foreign nationals at the airport. The forum at this demo yesterday complained about many things. One of them, drivers found a phenomenon of many foreign nationals picking up foreign tourists who had just arrived at Ngurah Rai Airport. One of the conventional drivers who participated in the action, Wayan Widiasa, complained about the role of immigration. He said because foreigners were suspected of being drivers for foreign tourists. He said, guests pick up guests. Oranges eat oranges, sir. I was shocked. Where is immigration? Additionally, he also questioned the role of police when the roads in Bali are congested. He saw that tourist drivers were stuck in traffic often and there were never any police around regulating it. He said, don't just escort big bikes and luxury cars. Wow. Please save us who are stuck in traffic. There are officers passing through the traffic jam and they don't do anything. Dewa Jack responded to his aspirations and complaints. He said he will assign Commission 1 and 2 of the Bali DPRD to conduct surprise inspections at the airport regarding the pickup of guests. Now, what if I go and pick up my sister? Am I going to be questioned? We will go to the airport first. The faction heads will try to see if there really are guests picking up guests. He also immediately wrote to Bali Police Chief regarding the presence of police on the road during traffic jams. I promise that today we will coordinate and write to the Bali Police Chief. Tomorrow, through the call center, take a photo, whether the police are on the road or not, and we will put them on the road if they are not there, he said. So that is the latest on the drivers and their protest about the online drivers. Okay, that is it for today. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Take care, and I will see you next time.